Top 5 Most Venomous Snakes. Venomous snakes are one of the most feared animals on the planet. These snakes have a venom they can inject to subdue their prey through specialized teeth. These dangerous snakes have become feared globally. There are over 600 species of venomous snake. The number of snake species that have the potential to cause harm to humans is around 200. This is less than 10% of all snakes worldwide. In the United States, 7,000 to 8,000 people are bitten by venomous snakes each year, but only 5 to 6 of these people die. What is a venom? Venom, the poisonous secretion of an animal, produced by specialized glands that are often associated with spines, teeth, stings, or other piercing devices. The venom apparatus may be primarily for killing or paralyzing prey or may be a purely defensive adaptation. Some venoms also function as digestive fluids. The venom poisoning of humans is primarily a problem of rural tropical regions, though it occurs worldwide. Many thousands of human deaths due to venom poisoning occur each year. Most venoms injure humans only when introduced into the skin or deeper tissues, usually through a sting or bite. Venoms are mixtures of toxic enzymes and various other proteins that act on the body in different ways. Neurotoxin venoms act on the brain and nervous system and can cause either nervous excitation, characterized by such symptoms as muscle cramps, twitching, vomiting, and convulsions, or nervous depression, with such symptoms as paralysis and weakening or arrest of respiration and heartbeat. Hemotoxins affect the blood or blood vessels. Some destroy the lining of the smaller blood vessels and allow blood to seep into the tissues, producing local or widespread hemorrhages, while others render the blood less coagulable or cause abnormally rapid clotting, leading to circulatory collapse that can be fatal. Still other venoms produce the symptoms of an allergic reaction, resulting in wheals, blisters, and violent inflammation, often followed by death of tissue and muscle spasms. Venom attacks can range in severity from a simple localized inflammation of the skin to almost immediate death, depending on the animal involved and the potency and mode of action of its venom. An attack's severity also depends on the victim's age. Children are more severely affected than are adults, and the location of the injury, a venom wound on an arm or leg, is usually less serious than a similar one on the head or trunk. Top 5 Most Venomous Snakes. Blue Crite, Bungarus candidus. The blue Crite is also known as the Malayan Crite, Bungarus candidus, is a highly venomous elapid snake species native to Southeast Asia. These snakes are found in peninsular Malaysia, central Vietnam, Thailand, Bali, Lao People's Democratic Republic, Indonesia, Singapore, and Sumatra. The blue Crite is probably the most venomous snake found in Asia and it ranks among the deadliest snakes in the world. This type of snakes lives in a wide variety of habitats from lowlands up to 1,200 meters high, very often close to a water source. Amongst their preferred habitats are rocky areas and waterways, but it also inhabits deciduous shrubby areas with sandy soils, hill forests, primary evergreen forests or plantations. Blue Crites are also found close to rice fields and rice dams. It can even be found in villages and cities. This is a very secretive and nocturnal species, usually hiding during the day. Blue Crites have thin bodies that usually have black with white, gray, or tan-colored bands. They aren't considered very aggressive or defensive. The blue Crite doesn't tend to bite unless it is really provoked, at least during the daytime. These shy snake will most often attempt to cover their head with their tail. The blue Crite is so docile during the daytime that many snake handlers very often will handle these deadly snakes with their bare hands. Venom, bite. The blue Crite venom contains powerful neurotoxins that attack the human nervous system, forcing it to shut down. After envenomation, death may occur within 12 to 24 hours. If left untreated, the mortality rate is about 60 to 70% in humans. But even with anti-venom treatment, 50% of the bites from the blue Crite prove to be fatal. Bite victims usually die from respiration failure, due to the paralysis of crucial muscles and nerves necessary for this function, like the diaphragm. When they bite, very little or even no pain is usually felt at the bite location. This makes them extremely dangerous to people living in remote and small villages, which usually lay down on the floor to sleep and may get bitten while sleeping. The blue Crite venom IVLD-50 value in mice is 0.1 mg per kilogram, making it more toxic than that of monocled cobra, Nayacauthia, and 15 times more toxic than that of the common cobra. In Vietnam, American soldiers used to call them the 5-step snake, meaning that if you got bitten by a Crite you would take 5 steps and then die. If blue Crite antivenin isn't available, the Australian Tigersnake, Notechis scutatus, antivenin can be used as a substitute. Diet, feeding. Blue Crites are an ophiophagus species, meaning that they feed on other snakes, even those of their own kind. But they will also eat amphibians, lizards, occasionally they feed on small mammals like mice and other small animals. Unlike other venomous snakes that are ambush predators, they are active hunters, moving around at night in search of prey. Reproduction. Not much is known about the blue Crite reproduction behaviors, other than it's oviparous, meaning these snakes lay eggs. Usually, they will invade and take over rat holes in the ground to make their nest. These deadly snakes are harvested for traditional medicine, food and for their skin in parts of their range. However, isn't clear how this is impacting the species population, and only further research may shed some light on the impact of their exploitation. Even though most likely there's no major threat to them, like all snakes they most likely suffer from human persecution. Top 4 most venomous snakes. Russell's viper, Daboia russelii. The Russell's viper is regarded as one of the most dangerous snakes in Asia. This species has a large range and can be found anywhere from western India to eastern China. In some countries, this snake is responsible for more serious bites than any other species. Russell's vipers have a very distinctive pattern, pictured above, that makes them easy to identify. When threatened, Russell's vipers will hiss very loudly. If hissing does not work, they will not hesitate to bite. These snakes have extremely toxic venom and also a large venom yield. When they bite, they inject a lot of venom, putting them near the top of the list of dangerous snakes. It is estimated that a Russell's viper has enough venom to kill 150,000 mice. Rodents are the preferred prey of Russell's vipers. Their venom easily kills rodents with its hemotoxins in seconds. Distribution and habitat. Russell's viper is found in India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Nepal, and Pakistan. Populations from Southeast Asia previously assigned to this species are now considered to be part of a different species, Daboia siamensis. The type locality is listed as India. More specifically, this would be the Coromandel Coast. By inference of Russell, 1796, within its range, it can be common in some areas, but scarce in others. In India, is abundant in Punjab, very common along the west coast and its hills, in southern India especially in the state of Karnataka and north to Bengal. It is uncommon to rare in the Ganges Valley, northern Bengal, and Assam. This species is often found in highly urbanized areas and settlements in the countryside, the attraction being the rodent's commensal with man. As a result, those working outside in these areas are most at risk of being bitten. D. Russelii does not associate as closely with human habitation as Naja and Bungarus species, cobras and Krites. Behavior and ecology. Russell's viper is terrestrial and active primarily as a nocturnal forager. However, during cool weather, it alters its behavior and becomes more active during the day. Adults are reported to be slow and sluggish unless pushed beyond a certain limit, after which they can become very aggressive. Juveniles, though, are generally more nervous. When threatened, they form a series of S-loops, raise the first third of the body, and produce a hiss that is supposedly louder than that of any other snake. When striking from this position, they can exert so much force that even a large individual can lift most of its body off the ground in the process. These snakes are strong and may react violently to being picked up. The bite may be a snap, or they may hang on for many seconds. Although this genus does not have the heat-sensitive pit organs common to the Crotalinae, it is one of a number of viperines that are apparently able to react to thermal cues, further supporting the notion that they, too, possess a heat-sensitive organ. The identity of this sensor is not certain, but the nerve endings in the supranasal sac of these snakes resemble those found in other heat-sensitive organs. Reproduction. Russell's viper is ovoviviparous. Mating generally occurs early in the year, although pregnant females may be found at any time. The gestation period is more than 6 months. Young are produced from May to November, but mostly in June and July. Prey. Russell's viper. Hunting. Russell's viper feeds primarily on rodents, although especially it will also eat small reptiles, land crabs, scorpions, and other arthropods. Juveniles are crepuscular, feeding on lizards and foraging actively. As they grow and become adults, they begin to specialize in rodents. Indeed, the presence of rodents and lizards is the main reason they are attracted to human habitation. Top 3 most venomous snakes. Inland Taipan, Oxyuranus Microlepidotus. The inland taipan is very famous when it comes to venomous snakes. Many deadliest snake lists have the inland taipan at number 1. 100 mg dose of inland taipan venom is enough to kill 100 adult humans. 100 mg is maximum that can be injected. True, the venom from this snake is one of the most potent toxins known to science. However, when ranked by LD50 venom toxicity, they are third. It is beaten by 2 of its Australian cousins. They sometimes have darker heads or black outlines to their scales. Distribution and habitat. The inland taipan inhabits the black soil plains in the semi-arid regions where Queensland and South Australia borders converge. Conservation status for the snake has been assessed for the IUCN Red List for the first time on July 2017. Mainland tiger snakes have venom that affects the nervous system, blood-clotting proteins, and muscles. This venom is very effective at killing amphibians, mammals, birds, or reptiles. Tiger snakes will flatten their neck when threatened, creating a hood, like a cobra. Mainland tiger snakes have bands that look like tiger stripes. These bands can range from black and yellow to bronze and tan. A highly variable species, which does not always display the distinctive tiger stripes suggested by its common name. The body can be gray, olive brown, or almost black. In most specimens, darker bands are visible. The pale areas between the bands are usually light brown or cream in color, but in some specimens, they may be bright yellow. The underside is usually creamy yellow, but again may be a distinctive bright yellow in some snakes. The banding in juvenile snakes is often much more conspicuous, fading gradually as the snake matures. Tiger snakes are relatively short, and stout-bodied with a broad head. Most specimens reach around 1.2 to 1.6 meters in length, although particularly large animals may exceed 2 m. The tiger snake is a very dangerous species and is ranked the 4th most toxic land snake in the world. Its range coincides with the highest human population in Australia, so encounters are common. Tiger snakes will usually act out an impressive threat display before attempting to bite. This begins with flattening of the neck and loud hissing, followed by mock strikes. Tiger snakes used to be the most common cause of snakebite fatalities in Australia. This position has now been taken over by the eastern brown snake. Habitat. A common species of the swamps, wetlands and watercourses of southeastern Australia. In some areas where food is plentiful, large numbers of tiger snakes can be found in close proximity to each other. Diet. Tiger snakes love frogs. This is their main diet. However, given the opportunity, they will also readily take lizards, birds, small mammals and fish. In hot weather, feeding often takes place at night, with daytime foraging predominating at other times. Reproduction. As an adaptation to the temperate climate of its range, the tiger snake produces live young instead of laying eggs. The female normally produces 20 to 30 wriggling babies in late summer after mating in spring, although some litters as high as 70 have been recorded. Venom. Tiger snakes accounted for 17% of identified snakebite victims in Australia between 2005 and 2015, with 4 deaths recorded from 119 confirmed envenomations. Tiger snake venoms possess potent neurotoxins, coagulants, hemolysins, and myotoxins. Symptoms of a bite include localized pain in the foot and neck region, tingling, numbness, and sweating, followed by a fairly rapid onset of breathing difficulties and paralysis. Most venomous snakes in the world. Eastern brown snake, Pseudonaja textilis. Eastern brown snakes are responsible for more fatalities than any other snake in Australia. They are often found living near human habitations and are one solid color that can range from gray, to brown or black. The eastern brown snake is of slender to average build with no demarcation between its head and neck. Its snout appears rounded when viewed from above. Most specimens have a total length, including tail, up to 1.5 meters, 4.9 feet, with some large individuals reaching 2 meters, 6.6 feet. The maximum recorded total length for the species is 2.4 meters, 7.9 feet. Evidence indicates that snakes from the northern populations tend to be larger than those from southern populations. The adult eastern brown snake is variable in color. Its upper parts range from pale to dark brown, or sometimes shades of orange or russet, with the pigment more richly colored in the posterior part of the dorsal scales. Eastern brown snakes from Merauke have tan to olive upper parts, while those from eastern Papua New Guinea are very dark gray-brown to blackish. Juveniles can vary in markings, but generally have a black head, with a lighter brown snout and band behind, and a black nuchal band. Their bodies can be uniform brown, or have many black bands, or a reticulated pattern, with all darker markings fading with age. Snake clutches in colder areas tend to have a higher proportion of young snakes with banded markings on their bodies. Reproduction. Eastern brown snakes generally mate from early October onwards, during the southern hemisphere spring. They are oviparous. Males engage in ritual combat with other males for access to females. The appearance of two males wrestling has been likened to a plaited rope. Venom. Clinically, the venom of the eastern brown snake causes venom-induced consumption coagulopathy. A third of cases develop serious systemic envenoming including hypotension and collapse, thrombotic microangiopathy, severe hemorrhage, and cardiac arrest. Other common systemic symptoms include nausea and vomiting, diaphoresis, sweating, and abdominal pain. Acute kidney injury and seizures can also occur. Death is due to cardiovascular causes such as cardiac arrest or intracranial hemorrhage. Often, little local reaction occurs at the site of the bite. The classical appearance is of two fang marks around 1 centimeter apart. Treatment. Standard first aid treatment for any suspected bite from a venomous snake is for a pressure bandage to be applied to the bite site. The victim should move as little as possible, and to be conveyed to a hospital or clinic, where they should be monitored for at least 24 hours. Tetanus toxoid is given, though the mainstay of treatment is the administration of the appropriate antivenom. Brown snake antivenom has been available since 1956. Before this, Tigersnake antivenom was used, though it was of negligible benefit in brown snake envenoming. The antivenom had been difficult to research and manufacture as the species was hard to catch, and the amount of venom it produced was generally insufficient for horse immunization, though these challenges were eventually overcome. Dogs and cats can be treated with a caprylic acid fractionated, bivalent, whole egg, equine antivenom.